A pleasant good evening from Painesville viewers. Welcome to the midweek edition of News Live on Lntv. I'm Julius, content presenting. And coming up in this edition of the program, government announces the further importation that is banned on the further importation of flowers, nails, and biscuits. For what, when we come back, we'll be telling you more. National Youth Movement for Transparent Election releases President Weah method report cataloging activities for his first year in office. George Weah calls on Liberians to help sustain the country's peace process by respecting the rule of law. And off the home front, an Ivorian MP and ex-post minister has been sentenced to 1 year in jail and fined $520 for spreading fake news that incited violence. Details of these developments and much more coming up right after this break, so please be there. Many thanks for rejoining us as we bring you our first development. The Ministry of Commerce will shortly burn contaminated pig feet recently seized by the government. The decision follows the scientific lab testing and completion that was done by the ministry in close collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Well, Wilson Tappet is the Minister of Commerce and Industry. He's been explaining more to journalists at a news conference.
I am pleased to say that after thorough and exhaustive examinations, both by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Commerce through our National Standard Lab, corroborated by peer laboratories outside of this country, have confirmed that a significant sample, close to 2/3 of the sample taken, were found to be contaminated. The test result of the 7 reference regulatory samples, as we have, show that, in fact, the consignment is substantially contaminated with Salmonella SPP. We have copies of the results for the purpose of time. We will not tell you what it says. The results of 5 samples, B1 July 862, and the details are there. Based on this conclusion of our sampling, and the advanced tests conducted by the 2 agencies of government, namely the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Ministry of Health, the consignment of pig feet, 2,754, which have been quarantined for the last 3 weeks, will now be confiscated, burned, and disposed of. The importer of that consignment will be invited into the ministry consistent with our rules to ensure that the necessary demerits as prescribed by our law are dispensed.
Meanwhile, the Commerce Ministry boss has also announced the ban on the further importation of flowers, nails, and biscuits. Here now is Commerce Minister Wilson Tappet giving more reasons for the government's decision Wednesday.
Consistent with our responsibility to review the importation of all materials, goods that come into this country, we have decided, the Ministry of Commerce have discovered a syndicate involving illegal IPDs, which were processed predating the incoming of the CDC government. It took some time to do because we want to make sure our examination was exhaustive. We discovered this syndicate. It involved former employees, it involved some business people, and it involved major and essential commodities like flour, nails, biscuits, and other essential products that are coming into the country. Because it is a responsibility of this government to protect manufacturing industries, especially infant industries that produce things that we need here. And we have to be consistent with our role to regulate imports that have the tendency to hurt these manufacturing entities. Because of that consistency and because of the situation we have now restricted and in fact put a ban on further importation of flour, meals, biscuits, and other related essential products that are produced internally. To the extent, we use the word restricted, that importation to the extent of the market deficit, meaning that we will only allow those things to come in if the production in the country is inadequate to meet the market demand.
Liberian leader George Weah is calling on Liberians to strictly adhere to the rule of law in order to promote peace, justice, and reconciliation, including national development. According to President Weah, it is key for the people of this country to help sustain and maintain the peace process in order to protect this country. Well, we apologize for the loss of that audio. World Bank Doing Business report has outlined critical issues intended to help improve doing business in Liberia. Business consultant at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Emmanuel Monyene, named the three issues as getting credits, resolving insolvency, and enforcing contracts. According to him, these are issues that will be addressed during the Lntv National Business Climate Group meeting, which will take place in Ganta City, Nimba County on Friday. Here now is Mr. Monyene.
The three issues that will be discussed are very crucial and thematic to the ease of doing business in Liberia. The three critical issues under the World Bank Doing Business report: getting credit, resolving insolvency, and enforcing contracts. These are issues that are interlinked with the banking sector, the judiciary, and the business community. So we want to have them assemble and focus on finding solutions to some of the crucial issues involving the three thematic areas. So we're taking it to Ganta.
But the participants, are they going to become more from the counties than coming from Monrovia to participate?
Well, it's a mixture of both. The participants will basically come from Monrovia, because this meeting is going to draw on the expertise of people, of professionals rather,
okay,
who in the field of law, in the field of banking and finance, in the field of public policy, in the field of private sector investment. So we collected a pool of people who will come to make presentations on the state of doing business in Liberia and have solutions or outcomes can be determined to move Liberia into a business-friendly environment. So this is one of the reasons we're holding it there. So when you look at the generic makeup of people that have been invited, take for example, enforcing contracts. We'll have a presentation from Councilor Mark Marvey from the Heritage and Partners law firm, right? He's going to make a presentation. That will be buttressed by someone from the Liberia Business Association, the president, who will come and give lessons learned and experience sharing on what are the mechanisms that are involved in enforcing contracts. And I'm happy that this is being co-facilitated by one of Liberia legal luminary in person of George Eva Morgan. She's going to be assisting us in this process. So basically, it's not just, it is geared toward creating an enabling business environment, but we want expert opinion on some of the thematic issues that will be discussed.
At the same time, Mr. Monyene has disclosed plans by the ministry to host a digital economy meeting in the country soon. The aim, among other things, is to help move Liberia to a cashless society because, according to him, it will help greatly for the country.
But the Ministry of Finance and Development Plan is going to host a digitalized economy meeting with most of the domestic actors involved in digital currency. There's a need to move to cashless economy. So sometimes next week, we will be holding a meeting with Liberians who are involved in digital economy. You know, that's one of the issues that is going to come up when we start discussing trading across border, which will be our next meeting. Yeah. So you want to know why can we use access to, I use my cell phone to pay? How can we have an interoperable communication that I can take money from my bank account, say bank A, transfer it to my mobile money, and pay? Why is that a problem? If I was across the country and then asking for money, how do I use the internet, the role of internet connectivity, in terms of transferring money to my account and then paying, or paying for goods in a foreign country without you carrying cash? Because of cashless economy has the propensity to lead to appreciation of your local currency. And it avoids the rates of printing money due to, you know, the handling that's involved. So the Minister of Finance, Honorable Samuel Gitwe, has set up a meeting with those involved in digital economy. And after that meeting, we'll be asking for support. We will be doing some case study, calling experts from either Kenya or Rwanda to share their experience, how they have managed to successfully implement a digital economy of cashless.
A business consultant at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Emmanuel Monyan, speaking to our sister program, The Super Morning Show. Reports reaching base station say Commerce returned to Harper City, Maryland County. They followed recent protest action by motorcyclists in the county, demanding immediate investigation from the police regarding the gruesome death of one of their colleagues. Currently, Internal Affairs Minister Vanessa Saliv is in the county to sympathize with the bereaved family and to as well bring the situation under control by intervening both from the security level and that of the angry motorcyclists. If you just joined us, you're watching the midweek edition of News Live on Lntv with me, Julius Content. A few of our top stories we're following. The Commerce Ministry has announced the ban on the further importation of biscuits, flowers, and nails in Liberia. And stay ahead of us, the National Youth Movement for Transparent Election releases report on President Weah, focusing on his first year in office, especially activities during the first year. We'll bring you that development plus much more after this break, so please don't go away. It's good that you rejoin us after our break. And if you just joined us, you're watching News Live on LNTV. We bring you more stories. The National Youth Movement for Transparent Election, NEMO for short, has released its President Weah media report documenting on activities and promises made during his first year, especially to the country. Releasing the report, NEMO Executive Director Eddie Trawalis Jawulu said President Weah has completed 5 projects with 33 more ongoing during the CDC first year in office. He's been explaining more when he released the report.
The President Meetup Project is the first of the kind. It's a tool used by civil society organizations around the world to be able to hold or elected leaders accountable. They have it across the world. It's in America, it's in Nigeria. In fact, what we're using is replicated after Bukari meeting in Nigeria. So out of the 87 promises made by the President, 38 of the promises are rated to be ongoing or completed. It means that there are some action taken of the 87 campaign promises. So out of the 87, action have been taken of the 38 promises, and out of the 38 promises, 5 of those promises are completed, and 33 of the promises are ongoing for the first year in office. And most of the promises that are ongoing are related to education, health, infrastructure development, agriculture, and youth. Additional 49 campaign promises are rated, have not started or not rated. That means that there's been no available information to assess whether there been action taken or there's nothing happening at all on the 49 promises. Of the 5 promises completed, we have the payment of the wax fee by the government, the renovation of the GFK hospital, the pass of the land right act, the reduction of salary of public officials under the executive branch of government, and the payment to community. These are the 5 campaign promises that have been rated completed. For example, about some of the promises that are ongoing, we look at the 14 military hospital, we look at the digital registering press at the University of Liberia, the premise around payment of tuition fee for private university student colleges. These are premises that are ongoing.
Meanwhile, Mr. Jawul has called on the government to receive the document in good faith because they are working together to buttress their efforts.
One way, we took three. We said the government should develop a result-based communication strategy between the cities and the people. So, I mean, the government had to communicate well. I mean, getting some of the information is very, very tough because the secrets of the government, people don't release information to you. Most of the ministry and agency, the deputy assistant minister cannot release information until it's been proven by the minister proper, which is very difficult. We say they should establish an interministerial committee to coordinate government effort so they can be easily be accessible to be able to report. This, what we're doing is just to buttress government effort. We're not serving as a police, but then equally so we can report when we can have the proper information to do that. We also want the government to develop an M&E system to monitor government promises and link those promises to the proper agenda implementation. We hope that this the report will be accepted by the government and they will take it in good faith, and they can be able to work towards making those ongoing promises to be completed. As you know, in November we released our first report, and at that time only 4 projects were completed. We have 29 ongoing. Now we're seeing effort. So there have been 5 completed, we have 33 ongoing, meaning that there have been some effort going. We want to also be clear that most of the ongoing projects are projects that was done, that started from the past regime. So this government just inherited and continued to work, which is also very good.
The head of the West African Examination Council Liberia office, Boto, says the institution is fully prepared to conduct a leakage-free exams this year beginning April. Mr. Boto said WAEC officials are working tirelessly to ensure candidates are provided equal opportunity when writing the test. Speaking to this station Wednesday, he said he called on the students to be prepared and avoid examination fright.
We are more than ever prepared to make sure that the examinations that will be administered in Liberia in 2019 are administered leakage-free, and that all candidates are given equal opportunity when it comes to how they are treated in doing the test, and that we are going to deploy technology in ensuring that we can fast track the process when it comes to the time it takes for us to release results. Over the years, we have been taking about 90 days, a minimum of 90 days. But with the age we find ourselves in, the use of technology in the examination administration procedures, we now realize that we're taking less than 50 days to administer, process, and release results.
What were those challenges for the past year, briefly?
For us, the greatest challenge that we've had have been examination malpractice. That's been our greatest challenge. And if you look at 2016, was it 2016? Yes. 2016, you can recall that we had an issue at Colonel, where our test papers, the papers for the senior, were stolen, and we had to re-administer the exam. So that year was very, very, very much devastating for us. It was more challenging in 2016. 2017, yes, we never had any problem with theft or leakage, but we had some issues with examination malpractice. So besides examination malpractice, the other challenge that we have when it comes to exam administration has to do with the barrier conditions that we have in the country.
At the same time, Mr. Boto has also informed our reporter that assigned teachers have begun marking papers from the just and the private candidate exams as results are expected in the country soon. Here once again is Theo Boto.
We've started the post-examination processes, and as I speak to you, marking is currently taking place. And as soon as we're finished with the marking, this is a national exam, so we don't have to wait for the other countries. So everything is in our hands. So we are hoping that before February can end, those candidates should be able to have access to the results. I don't want to be definite to tell them that we'll be releasing the results by February 15th. which is 2 weeks from now, and by the time we reach February 15, we still have some issues. So we are saying, one of the reasons I'm saying we have an issue, those schools are in session, and the people that are marking the scripts are teachers. We're going to take them from the schools and say, forget about a regular job, come and mark our scripts for 2 weeks before you can go back to your schools. The schools will have a problem with them. So we giving them time to go to the period job start, and after work, then they come down to devote some time to our strips. So it will take some time. And so hopefully by the end of February we should be able to release the results for this essay.
Your parting comments, if you have any.
I want to encourage the students in 12th grade that they should not be discouraged. They should not think that the exam is too difficult for them. It is beyond the scope, or it's beyond the level of honor scanning. The children, like I have always said, the children in Sierra Leone are not better off than the students in Liberia. The children, even in Ghana or Nigeria, they are not better off. You know, we have smart students in Liberia. So I just want for them to apply themselves properly. Let them focus on the lesson. I know the age we find ourselves in. Most of the people find themselves on the social media, and they find themselves involved in so many social activities. But they can use, I want for them to use the mobile phones, the data, and to go online and to research. And the teachers go in the classroom and introduce new topics to them. Let them go online too and research on those topics and see how best they can enhance their own learning instead of just focusing on the social aspect.
That's the head of National Office of the West African Examination Council, Dioboto. In a wake of admiring the elegant dress code of Reverend Henry Brown prefers to be called Best Dressed in Painesville, young people have been called upon in the community to emulate his good example. Musu Salif has been following his tour from various communities in Painesville, and back in studio, she compiled this report.
This elegantly dressed man is widely known as the best-dressed individual across Painesville and past adjacent. Most of his admirers do not even know him to be a preacher, but is called BestDressed. Some even called him Killblade, a nickname for people who are smartly dressed in Liberia. Our camera recently captured him at the Police Academic Junction in Painesville while doing his usual stroll. Reverend Henry Brown, who is commonly known as Killblade, attracts a number of people, especially the kids and the youth, most of whom craved to emulate him. As he receives multiple commendations for his dress code, he usually waves in appreciation to the kind sentiments expressed by his admirers. Our Lntv team quickly intercepted Reverend Brown and asked him why he was loitering the streets.
To be clean, not only the physical wearing, but also the heart. That is the only way Liberia will grow.
How many children do you interact with when you go to these forums?
Oh, no. I actually, there are some areas, you meet some area, the less, some area, the more. Everyday thing. I do it every day.
Despite being admired by many people, many also believed that Reverend Brown is less basic. But in reaction to this wrong assertion, Reverend Brown said he usually conducts forums in various communities in Painesville. He pointed out that he moves around because he is conducting survey on activities taking place in a country based on his curiosity. Mr. Brown said whatever is derived from the survey will guide in the process of building certain programs for future implementation.
Well, as I said previously, I am a religious student. Actually, my moving around is far from the dressing or dress courses. I carry out personal survey.
What are you surveying?
I really want to know about this nation because, I work in the executive mansion too long.
How long?
Almost 11 years.
Our camera also tracked Reverend Brown at the GSA Road Junction, where his fans, especially the motorcyclists, came out to stare at him. Motorcyclist Anthony Timmon Jefferson Smith and Dan Honest gave their impression about Reverend Brown's dress code.
Yeah, I love the way BestDressed dress. Dress code people admirable. At least people they see they admire the dress code. At least they appear very decent. Oh, I feel comfortable because I love the way they're dressing for him.
Are you going to learn from the way he's dressed?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm very much happy to see BestDressed because I've been here about BestDressed. The way in which he dressed, I really feel fine. This is the way we the youth of Liberia, especially with the Sacolis too, we have to dress that we have BestDressed dress today.
Our camera followed the best-dressed man to the ELWA junction where Sarah onlookers were chanting "Best Dressed, Best Dressed," as he was majestically and smartly dressed. Meanwhile, Reverend Henry Brown is believed to be one of the best-dressed males in Montserrat County. The fashion designer turned preacher also runs a children's ministry with over 70 kids at his home at Backley Mission. It is hoped that the youth will follow the trend of Reverend Henry Brown to appear decent in their dress code. Musu Salif, Lntv News, Monrovia.
Many thanks to Musu Salif for that comprehensive report. And away from Liberia now, an Ivorian MP and ex-post minister has been sentenced to 1 year in jail and fined $520 for spreading fake news that incited that is violence. Alon Lugondad had tweeted on 9th January that the state prosecutor had ordered the arrest of a few MP. But the prosecutor said that was not the case and the tweet had caused demonstrations and violent clashes. Mr. Lolongba, who has been on hunger strike for 10 days, believes the case is politically motivated. His lawyer said the MP who was detained on 15 January intends to appeal against the verdict. She added that it was clearly a political trial as her client was close to Guan Soro, a former rebel leader, a former rebel leader and prime minister who is now the speaker of the National Assembly. With that foreign development, we come to the end of this midweek presentation of News Live on Lntv. But before going, a reminder of a few of our top stories. Government announces ban on the further importation of biscuits, nails, and flour in the Republic of Liberia. National Youth Movement for Transparent Election releases President Weah a method report cataloging activities in his first year in office. At the same time, President George Weah calls on Liberians to help sustain the country's peace process by respecting the rule of law. And off the home front, an Ivorian MP and ex-post minister has been sentenced to 1 year in jail and fined $520 for spreading fake news that incited violence. Many thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow morning for more news on Lntv. And many thanks to the entire crew who helped in making this midweek edition a success. I'm Julius Conton. Good night.